Imagine that there are two people standing at the base of a mountain, both looking up at the peak. One of them has a map, compass, new gear, and a team of guides to lead them through their trip. The other is barefoot, carrying a heavy backpack, and has never climbed before. With wishful thinking, we can usually say that if they both work hard enough, they'll both reach the summits with their efforts. However, that's not often the reality. This is a lack of empathy. We often forget that while the first climber is trying to scale the whole mountain, the second climber is only trying to survive it. If we don't bridge this gap, we're not just losing a neighbor, we're losing our own humanity. Let's put a name to these climbers, for the sake of simplicity. Let's call the first one Felix and the second one Nadia. They both are looking up at that same peak, but are living drastically different lives. Today, Felix wakes up to a quiet home, eats a nutritious breakfast, and drives his car to school. He completes his work throughout the day and goes to practice in the afternoon. Then, he drives his car back, completes the rest of his schoolwork with time to spare, scrolls on his phone without worrying about Wi-Fi, and eats a filling dinner with his family. He ends his day with a warm shower and a cozy bed, sleeping comfortably. His day was filled with almost frictionless choices. Then, there's Nadia. Today, she didn't wake up to a quiet home. She woke up to the sound of a train passing right by. She doesn't have time for breakfast because she has to get on a bus that takes her to her job. She doesn't choose to skip school. She just doesn't have the money to pay for it. She doesn't choose to wait for a bus that never arrives, forcing her to run the many miles to her job. She works tirelessly until the afternoon, where she then goes to her second job, leaving her no time for a break. She gets home in the late evening to week-old leftovers that she's been sparingly eating so that she doesn't have to buy more soon. She ends her day exhausted and worrying about how she's going to pay her bills next month. Her day was filled with calculations for survival, not simple decisions. It's easy to admire Felix's spot on the mountain, but it's much harder to feel the cold and hunger of Nadia's climbs. Yet empathy isn't about looking at the summit. It's about sharing the struggle of the ascent and recognizing that that barefoot climber has more strength. When we look at Felix, we see talent, and when we look at Nadia, we see struggle. However, if we don't recognize that Nadia is climbing a vertical cliff while Felix is walking a paved path, then we're not practicing empathy. We're rewarding privilege. We often judge the speed of the climber, but ignore the weight of their pack. To explore another metaphor, it's like a heavy iron door that takes immense strength to be opened. Some of you have spent your whole lives holding open that door until your muscles gave out. Some of you find that door so heavy after having it slammed in your face one too many times that you decide it's safer to keep it locked. Some of you find it easier to label the people stuck behind the door than walk over and help them open it. And some of you are unwilling to strain your muscles if you won't get a word of gratitude in return. If we don't oil these gears, if we don't find the strength to heave open that door despite our own exhaustion, then the machinery of our society will stop. We will continue to be a nation of winners like Felix who feel entitled to their maps, and losers like Nadia who are blamed for their bare feet. Empathy is the only thing that turns a collection of strangers back into a community. Social media has amplified this. It will tell you that Nadia's struggle is her own and that Felix has worked very hard to get to where he is. I encourage you to take the harder path. Empathy isn't just a window into someone else's thoughts. It is the willingness to feel the cold wind on Nadia's cliffside and the weight of the pack on her shoulders. It is the humbling realization that only due to fate, chance, or luck, you are not in her exact position right now, standing out in the cold. When you leave this room today, don't just value empathy like a concept. Practically apply it. Look for the barefoot climbers. We are all on this mountain together, and the view of the summit is only worth it if we make sure that nobody is left to climb it alone.